Hey, brother, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
Going on, man? How you doing?
Good, good.
Let's see. Okay, cool, cool, cool. So, Gerald, before you and I started working together, what were those kind of expectations? Because you said you've worked with previous marketing companies before in the past. So, kind of what were those expectations, going into the program and thinking that this might be different than the rest?
I've had other people contact me, and I've tried other similar, um, you know, programs like yours, and I've bought a couple of them. And what happens is they take your money, and they never pan out. They never send you leads that are actually alive or even answering the phone. So that's kind of what I expected trying this out, but I wanted to try it again because I know people have success with it. So when we first talked, I was skeptical. Um, it took me a little while to go with your program, but once I did, within a couple weeks, I started getting leads in, and they were leads that actually answered the phone and wanted my service, and they were live people, and their age range was way off from what I thought because it's social media. I thought I was only going to get, you know, 20s to 40s, but I'm getting all sorts of people from all areas. So it blew up, and I have to hire, sales to cover the amount that you're bringing in, the amount of leads you're bringing in. And it's easy to do that because they're high quality, and I have proof of that. So I, yeah, I first couple weeks, I was kind of shocked. And then a couple months in, I got a steady flow, and I really appreciated all the work, but just couldn't keep up with it. It was so much. And then moving into the third month, I'm changed some ways I do business so I can keep up with it just as, a single business owner operator. And um, yeah, so it's been kind of crazy.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And going back to your initial point, I mean, you should be, you should have your guard up because I'm still, in the beginning, I was just a stranger. And, if you both were, but, I guess one step in front of the other, here we are now. And so when it comes to where you're at currently, so we're rolling into the third month from when we started roughly a little more than 2 months ago. And how many appointments would you say we kind of generated for you? I was looking at your calendar too, like last week, and it was pretty busy. So, like, roughly how many appointments kind of have I generated for you guys or teams? And then from those, how much, how many jobs were you able to close as well?
So the last 2 weeks have been kind of crazy. I think 2 weeks ago I had 16 appointments that were set by you, and then this current week there's I think 12 or 14, and then so I have about a 30% close rate, but I don't do my follow-up calls like I should. I don't, I'm not a great salesperson, so that's why I have to hire somebody. If I pushed on those leads at all, or if I was a, cold caller with those appointments, they would kill it because these are people that want the service. Like I said before, it's not just any random number or any lead just because you're selling leads, which you don't do. It's amazing. They're already looking for the service, and then they find your ad, and then they're directed right to me. So they're all great leads. If I was any good, I would probably be getting a 60% close rate. So I sold out of those so far. I have probably 4 to 5 interested, which is huge for me. My contracts are rather large, so it's okay. But yeah, if somebody was pushing hard on those, I'm sure they could close half or over that amount, which closing, 14 to 15 roofing leads in 2 weeks is huge for a company. That's a salesperson's dream in our industry. So I think it's definitely achievable for the program we have set up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you you briefly touched on this, but when you and I first spoke over 2 months ago, you were thinking about some of the dreams that you had and you wanted to hire more sales reps and to kind of automate the company, which you're kind of doing right now in real time, which is so cool to see. So what were some of those dreams that you had in the past, and how has the program kind of helped you get to where you wanted to be?
So I wanted a construction company that didn't have any the common issues with their customers, like misinformation or uneducated going into the contract. So that's where you get a lot of the arguments and the callbacks and all the trouble. So I wanted to build a company that was clear, concise, and as fast as possible. So, like, somebody wants milk, they go to the store to buy milk. I wanted roofing and siding to be the same way, which is really hard. So, I had to get the estimating process down to 15 minutes or less. And even with that, it's hard to keep up with leads that are coming in. So it's great. It's a good foundation for the type of business I need. The leads coming in, they're consistent, and to grow a business, you have to have a consistent customer flow. So the last couple months, the customers you've been sending me, it's allowed me to invest in all kinds of different things to automate my business. You know, because I only run it by myself right now. So it's amazing. So if I can do, I think I've done since January 1st almost 600,000 in revenue. If I could do that much by myself, a sales team of two or three can probably rake in a couple mil. So it's great. And then the scalability is nice because you can throw more money at it, you get more leads to a certain extent. We're creating new content or whatever, and you can just build on the foundation. So it's great. I mean, it's a great program. Good videos.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, cool. And so, with respect to the actual program itself, how would you say communication is? Are we open and transparent? What's kind of like the customer experience on your end, and how the company treats you? What's going to be your experience with our partnership and the communication and everything there?
Yeah, anytime I've needed you, you've been right there, immediate answer. I'm 3 hours different than you, and sometimes I don't realize how late it is, and I shoot you a text and you still answer. So that's kind of impressive. So that's awesome. And then as far as the customers coming in, they know what they're coming in for. So it's really nice because I don't have to call to explain before an appointment. I don't have to prep them in any way or dress down the appointment. I know exactly what I'm going in for. And it's not ever, I ask you for a certain type of lead. That's exactly what I'm getting. I'm not getting any other type. I'm not getting, gutters or anything else that I didn't ask for. I asked for roofing, and that's what I'm getting is consistent roofing leads. And they're not repairs, they're all re-roofs, which is, on target to an extreme point. It's really nice because when I've done those other programs, they pass you leads that need general everything, repairs, roofing, gutters, all that stuff. And it floods your high quality leads down with leads that just don't make as much money. And, if you're really pushing re-roofs and then you get, 15 leads and then half are gutter repairs or roofing repairs, then it's just not as worth it. So the information between the lead connector and customer and you and me are all fluent, and it flows concisely. It's quite impressive.
Awesome. Yeah, and I was looking at your accounts just earlier today, and I think in roughly 2 months there were over 100 leads. So it's really cool to see kind of the progress that you've made from when you and I both started to where we are now, and in both our companies, and personal lives as well. So that's really cool to see. And so moving forward, what would be some of your advice to those contractors kind of hesitant, been burned before in the past, and they're kind of skeptical of awakening growth in the company, what would you say to those contractors that you were on the fence?
I would say that right off the bat, it sounds like a lot of the others. You're unique in your approach, which caught my eye. So if they're considering going with you, I'd say do it, and throw everything at it that you recommend to bare minimum, to start. And that's a good median point, and it's only up from there. So if you need an extra 15 or so leads a week in a couple months, I would say go with you guys.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Gerald.
Yeah, I appreciate it.